Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn.
And enrolling on a Friday on Sportstime with Gabe Kuhn, Brett Stats Norsworthy. I'm Gabe Kuhn. He's Brett Stats Norsworthy. Brett, how are you?
I'm great, Gabe. Happy Friday to you.
Absolutely.
And ready for another football weekend.
Brian Dacus, as always, producing. Brian, how are you?
Hey, guys.
Good to see you today, man.
It's always
and Brian,
a pleasure.
thank you so much for keeping us alive in the picks last night with the bouquet you threw us.
Yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
But it is the Friday, November 19th, 2021 edition of our program, first hour of our show, brought to you by Lexus of Memphis, and we're always live from the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40, is where you can find Family Leisure. It's the holidays, so make sure you get in there, check out all of their great sales. If you want to talk to us today, 901-360-8255 at the AutoZone listener line. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Also, watch us live and message us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. A lot to get to today. Grizzlies win versus the Clippers. They're above 500 at 8-7.
Win of the year.
Win of the year. Second one against the Clippers. So it was pretty substantial. It was pretty substantial, and they scored 120 in both. That's an interesting thing, and that's the most that the Clippers have given up all season, both to the Grizzlies. Bunch of college basketball. Tigers take on Western Kentucky tonight, and we have a bunch of Ole Miss is going to take on Elon after losing late last night, 78-72. Tigers football in Houston tonight as well. So we got Tigers basketball and Tigers football on the same night. We always have to get you ready for the college football and NFL weekend, though, so we're going to bring on Alan Bell and Bruce Marshall, and we're going to get to our Friday football forecast later in the program. As far as guests are concerned, Drew Barrett at 4:30 in his normal time slot. Jason Munns from the CA on the Tigers basketball beat at 5 o'clock. Brett, have you felt any aftershocks from the earthquake? I was very curious about that.
No aftershocks. All good. Everything rolling along fine. Just one of the more bittersweet weekends of the year for me. The last time for me to Oxford for a while. I'll come down for some basketball, and I want to thank again another spectacular year, and want to thank Learfield first and foremost,
right.
But want to thank the people at the Inn at Ole Miss. My last show from the Family Leisure Studios in Oxford at the Inn at Ole Miss, and they have been great to me. I've been staying here probably 12 years now out of my 14 working with and for Ole Miss, and they have just treated me so grand. And today's kind of hello and goodbye for a while, but we know we got next Thursday night, but that'll be on the road at Starkville for both Mississippi State and Ole Miss this weekend. Their opponent is in the mirror in themselves. State on the field, the opponent across from them is Tennessee State. For Ole Miss, the opponent across from them, Vanderbilt. Both teams will win. Both teams will win handily. You can't play not to get hurt. And you can't play just to get to the end of the game. You got to play, don't you, Gabe? And it's that own kind of your own pride that you got to muster up, and that's the case whether you have a really good record like Ole Miss and State, or if you have a bad record. A lot of teams are trying to get to the end, and last night you saw a Duke Blue Devil team, especially on defense, pure D quit on David Cutcliffe. They didn't want to play. They didn't want to tackle. They have checked out, and they're done.
He's done. Right. I mean, whether he's going to step away, he should. I mean, at this point, he's almost 70. He's about to be 70.
Really good man.
A very good man. Great coach. Did a great job at Duke. I mean, truthfully.
Job. So, did a good job at Ole Miss.
That's not what I'm.
Got a son here in Oxford. It's a very successful high school football coach. I would think David and Karen are probably close to being at the end of the rat race. Yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah, and by no stretch, I'm not trying to say he shouldn't be fired, that he's done it. No, he's done a great job at Duke, great job wherever he's been. It's just he's reaching the end of his career.
Sometimes you just get deep fried done.
Yes, and last night what I saw Malik Cunningham do, my gosh. He might be the best Malik you've seen play this year. He had 300 yards passing, 200 yards.
I started to text you that last night, but I didn't want to be that guy.
200 yards rushing. That one run he had where he had
But hold it, Gabe. They wouldn't tackle. Duke wouldn't play.
Right.
Duke didn't participate in that play.
He did just run circles around them on that play.
Circles. I mean, all but one time stopped waiting for the contact. Nobody would hit him, so he just kept going.
It really has been I saw today on Twitter, somebody had to remind me, and I hate when they remind me of this, we're only 8 days away from ending the regular season. But then I also had to remember the USC Cal game. So it'd be
championship weekend, and then the bowl.
Well, regular season. I
love all the bowl games, and and they will be interesting. Some motivations out there will be quite the challenge for coaching staffs. A lot of times the coaching staff quits on the team. They're going to another job, or they're disenchanted with something, and now you got a lot of motivating factors.
Brett, from my experience, that goes both ways.
It sure
goes both ways. You could say, yes, the coaching staff, the effort's not quite there that they had early in the season, but the players also feel it too. So it is that point in the season.
I saw it on display. The in 2007, Houston Nutt had been fired at Arkansas and had accepted the Ole Miss job, and he had already left the program at Arkansas. But the assistant coaches, they have to stay. Mm-hmm. That contract is through the.
Well, it depends. There's some assistant coaches that end up leaving. I remember Adam Fuller left for Florida State when Norvell moved on. I remember with Fuente. Was
that right?
Yes, we had.
This year, all the Arkansas staff had to stay, but they were all literally the Ole Miss. The University plane was in Dallas at Love Field as soon as they left the Cotton Bowl against Missouri for Arkansas. They were going and getting on the Ole Miss plane to go start recruiting.
Yeah,
and Reggie Herring was interim coach, and he and Gus Malzahn did not do well together. The Arkansas effort that day was one. I mean, it'd make you throw up.
Yeah, but no, with Memphis, my experience, some of the assistants left. I remember my O-line coach, Vance Weiss, had to move on. James Shebest had to move on for the bowl game at least at the end of the year. That's always tough. That's really
real
tough. And I remember the effort in that Birmingham Bowl too. Whew. That was no fun at all, Brett.
Yeah,
not even a lick of fun.
No, and we're only going to have more of that this year down the stretch of the season and in the bowl season because the checkout factor, it's out there.
Mm-hmm. There's no question. So this week, though, and I'm not going to dive into detail by any stretch of the imagination. This week has been hectic outside of sports, very hectic. We had the earthquake here. We had young Dolph pass away. We've had the Kyle Rittenhouse trial going on. He was found not guilty today. I'm not here to talk about that by any stretch of the imagination.
No, we're your escape. Come on,
but
escape
of course,
with us.
Yeah, absolutely. But I did want to find a little beauty in the madness of this week. Young Dolph, of course, passed away. But
I think the beauty was me crawling out of the debris, out of the rubble of the earthquake.
Right. That's beauty.
Gonna write
that's
a book
beauty.
about
Nothing
it.
happened there.
I came out like Carrie out of the grave in the closing scene of the movie.
But Brett, I have to bring this up because there's a lot of people this week with the Young Dolph news talking about, I got to get out of Memphis. Memphis, the crime's terrible. But they don't talk about the other side of the thing. And I saw yesterday a GoFundMe page for Makita's Cookies, which is where Young Dolph was shot and killed, owned by the Hill family, Pamela Hill and Maurice Hill. And nearly $50,000 in donations in 2 days have gone their way. And 1,300 people have donated. Kelly English, of course, a restaurateur around here.
As soon as they reopen, I'm going by and getting a big batch of oatmeal raisin cookies.
Yes, but Kelly English, $1 on each dessert he sells. He's gonna give to Makita's. So you can talk about the bad in Memphis, but I think at the same time you have to talk about the good. That comes. You have to find beauty in the madness. Good. You have to find beauty in the madness. You do.
You do, Gabe, and great on you. You sure do, and we will, and we do, and you sure do.
Now, Thursday Night Football. That was not. There's no beauty about that. That was disgusting. Falcons had 11 drives, no points. Let me find this really quick. They had 11 drives. It went punt, missed field goal, punt, turnover on downs. Last 4 interceptions. We saw Chosen Rosen. We saw Felipe Franks at the end. 25-0
Their old school uniforms look great. Does that get you anything?
No, not at all. But 25-0 Pats. And I'm used to seeing the Pats defense make young rookie quarterbacks look bad. I'm used to that. But they made Matt Ryan look absolutely silly.
Had Matt Ryan fussing and cussing with his O-lineman on the sideline.
He had no chance. J.C. Jackson got his 6th interception of the year. That team is –
Van Noy got one?
Yes, at the very end. That was a little cheap garbage time one.
Yeah, that was the Pro Bowl stat stuffer.
I was glad to see Chosen Rosen out there, though. My man Josh.
What a circuitous route for him. He's – we thought he was going to have the football life that Sack of Bones Mac Jones has had.
Oh, and Mac Jones is very good. He is really good, Brett.
Brent Beard saw him in high school and thought he would be that good. It took him a while to finally hit the field at Bama. It took to his injury down in Starkville in the season of 19 for him to finally get his chance. He had good moments that day. He had pretty good moments in that Iron Bowl. I was at that Iron Bowl that year. He had two poor passes, but then had a great bowl game. And then last year, and now he's off. And to play college football for Nick Saban and pro football for Bill Belichick, you got to be tough. You got to be tough.
Right, but those guys have similar styles as far as how they get their point across. Yeah. Obviously, their offensive, defensive
way
style.
Or the highway.
It's yes,
the point.
It's been different, but Mac he's there to facilitate. We know that, but he's doing it so well. 71% completion percentage during this 5-game win streak, and they've outscored opponents.
22 of 26 last night.
Outscored opponents 175-50 over these last 5 games.
If people think he's just to keep it in the middle of the road, just a functionary, just a facilitator, they're missing out. He was more than that at Bama. He will eventually be more than that with New England. You see every week a little more, maybe instead of just check downs, throwing it across the middle to the tight end, and you're going to see even more. I don't think he has talented receivers, and for all the love of Bill Belichick, if he could redo that draft and take DK Metcalf, I think he would.
Here's the thing. I think he is a facilitator, but he's very, very good at it. The grasp of football, the lack of – he does not make mistakes. What he does in spreading the ball around to those bad – he's throwing to Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar.
N'Keal Henry.
Yeah. Hunter Henry's probably his best receiver out there.
Hunter is his best receiver out there. His hands are unbelievable. He just has had trouble staying healthy. He reminds me of Max Johnson's dad, Brad Johnson, with the Buccaneers and the Vikings and a lot of other teams. He gets the ball there on time. Brad Johnson's probably the best quarterback nobody knows that had 27,000 yards passing.
Yep. When you talk about the Patriots, though, I think you have to give credit where credit's due every year to Bill Belichick for putting together the rosters he does with guys that we don't even think will be that good.
Yeah.
Because think about before this year, him and this Stephon Gilmore thing could not get it done. A deal with Stephon Gilmore lets him walk, even though he was a defensive player of the year in 2019. This year, J.C. Jackson has 6 INTs. The defensive backfield is really good. You have J.C. Jackson, Devin McCourty, Kyle Duggar, who they drafted last year, Jalen Mills, and they're not missing Stephon Gilmore even remotely. And they just somehow figure out ways to find guys who they know roles for. This year, their draft picks, Mac Jones, Christian Barmore, Ramondre Stevenson starting to get in the fold. You can, for a year, last year, you can hold down Bill Belichick because of the Tom Brady situation and how that played out. They were 7-9, not a very good football team, but you ain't holding them down for long.
No, you're not. If you're going to have any criticism, you better get it in. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. NFL Week 11 continues this Sunday, and FanDuel Sportsbook wants you to get the most out of every play. That's why they're giving everyone a $10 risk-free bet every single week. All you have to do is bet a same-game parlay bet with 3 legs or more, and if your bet doesn't win, FanDuel will pay you back up to $10. Chiefs against Cowboys. I like the Cowboys money line. I like Zeke Elliott over the rushing yards and an anytime TD for Dak. Anytime. And that's one leg of it, and you win. Fast payouts. When you win, you get your winnings in as little as 2 hours. Easy to use, safe and secure. Among the many reasons that makes FanDuel America's #1 sports book. You have to have it for all these basketball games, pro and college, this week with Thanksgiving and all the football. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay bet, so lock in your bet today at FanDuel Sportsbook and get up to $10 back if your bet doesn't win. If you're new to FanDuel Sportsbook, sign up right now with promo code CASH to also receive 30-1 enhanced odds on either team to win the Monday Night Football matchup between the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Win $150 on a $5 bet. That's promo code CASH, so they know I sent you. Must be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same game parlay available for multiple sports in all states. On mobile and on the web. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. 889. This hour of our show brought to you every day by the one and only Lexus dealership in town. That is appropriately Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Happy holidays from everyone at Lexus to you out there, and thank you for your support through all the years. Call them at 901-362-8833. Great offers on all 2021 remaining models and the 2022s that are rolling in. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2021 or 2022 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. 901-362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Top story of the day for me. Grizzlies get the win over the Clippers, 120-108. Second time this year they have defeated the Clippers, scored 120 in each of those games. That's the most that the Clippers have surrendered this season. When you look at the big three of the Grizzlies, Jaren, Dillon, and Ja, very good nights last night. Jaren, 18 points. Ja, 28. Dillon, 18. But when you look at PG-13 in the job that Dillon Brooks did on Paul George all night, he held him in check. He made everything so incredibly hard. And the presser after the game with Dillon Brooks was fantastic. Came in with the ears on his hat. He had his sunglasses as normal.
He won.
And he went at Paul George. He was not backing down in any way, shape, or form. But the Grizzlies got back to their good shooting ways. Ja is shooting above 35% this year. He was 2 for 5 from downtown last night. But the biggest story for me, from a local standpoint, from watching Taylor Jenkins and how he operates, the lineups were way more, calmed down by a lot. Brandon Clark, Kyle Anderson, DeAnthony Melton were the big minute bench players. Tyus Jones, Zaire Williams, in spot minutes. No one else. No Conchar, no Xavier Tillman. He calmed down the lineups, and look what happened. The Grizzlies played a lot better. They had more synergy.
I think I'm at the top of the market on my Conchar jersey. I think it can sell more today than it could this time next week.
Yes, but the points in the paint are continuing to be what the Grizzlies hang their hat on. 74 last night, 20 from Ja. Ja, at his size, leading the league in points in the paint is ridiculous. Grizz, by the way, though, lead the league in points in the paint as 18.
My top story, the test tonight for Tigers football is the toughest of the season. I think a great Houston team, and they are playing at home. A win to close out the season at home next Saturday, and a bowl win, then 2 great seasons. Nothing to explain at all. 8-3 last year, 8-5 this year. I say no explanation whatsoever around the start for Ryan Silverfield's tenure.
Yes, and there's been a lot this year. It's been a lot of up and down. And I think it's a young team that sort of plays up to their competition, plays down, plays in the middle. I mentioned this yesterday. They have lost to some teams they had no business losing to, and they've beat some teams that I think they're capable of beating. And tonight, 8.5-point dog.
Mississippi State's a great win.
Yes, and so is SMU at this point in the season.
Yes.
They're at 8.5-point dog tonight, but again, with what they have shown their best is, I don't think you can count them out. I don't either.
Not top story of the day.
This is the funniest thing I saw today. Cleveland, well, you know they've been the Indians for 106 years, changed their name to the Guardians this offseason. Long-awaited change. They opened up their team store today with all the new Guardians gear. Did you see what happened, Brett?
I didn't.
They put up their sign, Cleveland Guardians sign. Boy. It was this nice circle sign, team store for the Cleveland Guardians. Everybody was moving in and out. They were buying all their stuff, and it fell directly on the ground.
There you go.
If that ain't an omen for what's to come for the Cleveland Guardians, I don't know what is. I mean, that was
Cleveland hadn't won it since '48 when Lou Boudreau won it as a player manager. The last time they won it before that was '24 with Tris Speaker as a player manager. They need a player manager in Cleveland.
Just bolt up screw on the sign better. Don't let the thing fall. And they put up. It was funny. They put up Cleveland Guardians like crime scene tape while they were fixing it. It was hilarious.
Gabe, be honest. Did you and Brian on the bingo card today have a Tris Speaker reference?
Honestly, yes. I think
you did. Y'all had
on my bingo
we're
card.
Always prepared.
He didn't have it.
No,
he didn't have it on his.
My not top story sounds a little like my top story, but a few different things. The test tonight for Tigers basketball is the toughest so far this season. A win avenges a brutal loss from last year, and a win sends them to the Big Apple next week with the best start in the 4 years of the Coach Penny Hardaway tenure.
And last night, Xavier beating Ohio State could set up some good wins for the Tigers if they get through Virginia Tech, who will probably be top 60 to top 50 in that ranking. It could be a quad one win. Xavier beating Ohio State last night was substantial, though, because if they get through Virginia Tech and end up playing Xavier, who would have to beat Iowa State, but Iowa State stinks.
I want to blast Western Kentucky tonight. That loss early last year really hurt. That chipped away at some confidence.
It's not the same Western Kentucky team by any stretch of the imagination. Charles Bassey took advantage of Moussa Cisse. They don't have him anymore. He's in the NBA now. They have sort of a wing-led team, and Davion McKnight, who's their leading scorer at 21 points per game.
Unbelievable.
Yes, but small.
He's small.
It does not seem to be a good matchup.
He's also averaging
Western
5
Kentucky.
assists a game.
Yeah.
It's not a good matchup.
It does not seem like a good matchup on paper, but Rick Stansberry's been doing it for a while.
We're not just watching it on paper. We're watching it with our Tiger bankroll.
Yeah, we're going to have to get to that. You're in the lead still.
15.5. Tigers over WKU.
But that is our top and our not top story of the day. Real quick, I know I mentioned at the beginning of the show, but our rundown for the day. On the other side, we're going to have Alan Bell. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall as normal. 4:30, Drew Barrett from ESPN Arkansas will join us. 5 o'clock, Jason Munns from Tigers basketball beat for the CA. 5:30, we will have our Friday football forecast. 5:45, we, of course, get out and send you to the weekend with Taco Bell Crunch Time. But coming up on the other side, Alan Bell from CBS Sportsline.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. I'm Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors, and I have to really congratulate Hugh Mallory, who is also with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors, for using his hunting skills when it comes to finding homes for his clients.
Thanks, Sheldon. Yes, I get them into their hunting gear by getting them pre-qualified with a local lender. Then we stalk the prey. We go on the hunt into the multiple listing service as well as other internet sites that other hunters, other agents, don't use. And once we find what we're hunting, we make the offer to beat other agents out there in the field.
Hugh, that's all well and good. But what do you do once you get the house?
Well, we can't very well mount it on the wall, but our clients will be living in their dream home while everyone else is still hunting.
Remember, while Hugh Mallory moves Memphis at 497-9756, when you want the job done, call Shell Dunn at memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546. Do it now. memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546.
Hey, Jeff Allen, Randy here. It's time to party down and get happy over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
That's right, Randy, and we'll make you happy with the 41 MPG 2022 Kia Forte, $189 a month, 36-month lease, just $29.99 due at signing. Or a 2022 Kia Sportage LX, $199, 36-month lease.
Plus, don't forget 2022 Kia Sorento LX, you Gossett at $289, 36-month lease. And they're both only $34.99 due at signing.
Plus, you'll always get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, we'll make you happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 36-month leases, $650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, must finance through Kia. Forte NE 415,838, MSRP 21,535, Sportage N7011,110, MSRP 27,635, Sorento NGO 83,556, MSRP 29,215. Includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Kia, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/30/2021. Dealer stock only.
Whether you're driving for distance, pitching for precision, or putting to win it all, come to Edwin Watts Golf Shop to get custom fit for all your clubs throughout your bag. Hit a few balls and let our team show you the latest swing technology and data that will help optimize your game. Having each club tailored to become your gamers will help you start shooting lower scores. Let Edwin Watts Golf Shops help you make every shot the perfect one. Come in and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Wilkinson's Liquor and Wine is celebrating their 35th year. Come in today and choose from a big selection of tequilas, vodkas, and over 70 different single malts. Bourbon whiskey fans will find over 200 bourbons and whiskeys from around the world, along with wines from every region for all you wine enthusiasts. Wilkinson's Liquor and Wine, 146 Highway 72, Suite 102 in Collierville. It's next to Captain John's Barbecue. Open every day, including Sundays from 10 to 7 for football and all sports fans. Wilkinson's Liquor and Wine, celebrating 35 years with you.
AC trouble? Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their yearly AC checkup is only $60. Then this year, Air Doctors is the official HVAC contractor for St. Jude Dream House. Air Doctors installed the St. Jude Dream House new Train high-efficiency equipment. Get your service from the best. AirDoctorsOfMemphis.com. Call 901-598-HVAC.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Get it? Text a message, I don't know the number.
Back live in the Family Leisure Studios. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. Let's go ahead and let's bring in our friend from CBS Sportsline, Alan Bell, at Alan Bell 247 on Twitter, because I got to get all the time we can with Alan. Alan, how are you, man? Alan?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. How you doing?
There we go. I'm good.
There we go. All good. How are you, Alan Bell?
Man, I'm doing good, boys. Doing good. It's Friday. Hard to complain on a Friday.
I want to give you a lot of credit from August 27th to now in college football. You are 18-15 on the year. That's 55%. Since September 10th with us on a Friday afternoon in the NFL, you are 26-21. That's 55%. Overall, guess what your percentage is? 55%, 44-36. Good. Way to go out. Anything in 55 and north is pretty good, because you have no idea what games we're throwing at you. We're not getting number one plays. We're local and rapid fire at you. Good going.
Man, I appreciate that, boys. I appreciate that. You know what? Let's keep it going, too.
So Brett asked me this question this week about the Patriots. Patriots win 25-0 last night against the Falcons, of course, 5-game winning streak now. He said, what's the ceiling for them? So I'm going to pose that to you. What do you think the ceiling is for this Patriots team? Could they possibly compete and get into a Super Bowl? Not necessarily Super Bowl winning team, but could they get there?
Absolutely. In the AFC, they absolutely can, because they are the most balanced team, at least in the AFC, possibly in the NFL right now. I'm not saying best team. I'm saying most balanced, right? They play excellent defense. They are physical. They hit you. They make open field tackles. On offense, they don't kill themselves, right? Like they take what you're going to give them, and they are going to extrapolate on that. They've got a quarterback in Mac Jones who's throwing 80% completions this season, right? And you look at the last 2 weeks. Here is what here's what the Patriots have been doing. And the Falcons had zero chance last night, and I'll tell you why. Because the last 2 weeks, you see the Browns and the Falcons both come into the game with their running game out, injured, banged up. Bill Belichick has made a career off when you come in one-dimensional, you will leave zero-dimensional, because he is not going to let you. He's not going to allow you to do anything. And he has no problem winning a 16-0 game, right? Like, I know that, the points went up at the end with interceptions, but he's not worried about scoring a ton of points. He's worrying about just crushing you out. Right, and that's what he does, man. So, yeah, got to give him credit. The Patriots are just playing excellent ball right now.
If he could score on a rouge and win 1-0, he would.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, literally, and the best part, he was running bear out there on defense last night. Legit, high school coaches going crazy about it. You know what I mean? He is just such a good fundamental football coach that he sees what you don't have. And he says, okay, yeah, you're smoked. You're done. And that's what he does, man.
How imperative for them to win that division and be the 2 seed. They still have to play wild card weekend, but it'll go through Gillette, and they'll get the last seed. It'll be the 2 versus the 7 with the Pats being at home.
Yeah, and look, I'll say this, the fascinating part is the next 4 games for them. We're going to find out what this Patriots team is about, because they play the Titans, the Bills, they play one other team. I can't remember. I think the Colts, and then the Bills again, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the next 4 games for them. So, yeah, we're going to find out a lot about them. But, man, like you guys were just saying, this team is balanced, man. It's tough to beat a balanced football team.
Yeah, and Bill Belichick just makes it so uncomfortable. I'm used to him making rookie quarterbacks uncomfortable, but Matt Ryan and how old he is making him uncomfortable, that was something else last night. He had no chance. But the game that honestly, there's a couple games on the slate, one being the Cowboys at Chiefs, but two for me, Packers 2-point favorites at Minnesota. Rodgers has a toe injury. And you would look at this and you'd say, okay, Packers 2-point favorites, the way they've been playing with Aaron Rodgers, easy, right? Won 17-0 last week at Lambeau versus the Seahawks. But Aaron Rodgers is 7-7-1 versus Mike Zimmer defenses. So what do you think about this one?
Yeah, he is, and it's fascinating that this is kind of the one team that he doesn't completely own. You think that he just does that against everybody, but yeah, man, Minnesota's been pretty good, over the last 4, 5, 6 years. Look, with this game, it's an interesting line, and really what it comes down to is if you could take the run game away from Minnesota, you could beat Minnesota.
Right.
If you can't take the run game away, Kirk Cousins, as crazy as it sounds, he will play action you to death. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's what his game is. But if he doesn't have to play action, if there's no threat there with the run game, he's smoked, right? So I don't know if Green Bay is healthy enough on defense, to make this a guaranteed play. They can win. You have Aaron Rodgers, you can win any game. But you know what? I'm going to go with Minnesota in the points here.
Okay.
I just don't feel it for Green Bay. Yeah, with it being under 3, yeah, give me Minnesota.
Right.
I'm going to give you a hook, too. We don't push. I'm going to give you Minnesota plus 1.5.
And the other thing is,
right.
I'll take Kirk Cousins in a noon game, just as long as it's not prime time. As long as we don't have Kirk in prime time, I can trust him.
That's so true. And it's so true. And I'll tell you an interesting nugget about the Vikings this year. They have led by 7 or more points in every single game this season. All of them. They're 4-5.
Wow.
It's crazy. Their fourth quarters are nuts, man.
And with Aaron Rodgers with the toe issue, or as our friend John Harden called it, TOVID.
That's well played. That's good.
That is really good, isn't it? Allie Bell with us from CBS Sports, and we love having him with us every Friday afternoon. All right, let's go to the Riverboat Ron Super Bowl. Washington against the Panthers. He took the Panthers to a Super Bowl at Riverboat Ron. Ron Rivera now the head coach of the Washington football team. I can't get a handle on either one of these teams. Carolina, downtown Charlotte, Sunday afternoon, 3.5-point favorite.
Yeah, I don't love that 3.5, but I'll take Carolina with this one. And look, I'm not a big Cam Newton guy. I'm not negative on him. I think that people have been super, negative about his game last year in New England when they had nothing. But this game is about Christian McCaffrey. Their offense is about Christian McCaffrey. The entire team to find balance is about Christian McCaffrey, and that's what he brings. Now, I love Ron Rivera as a football coach. If I played for him, I would absolutely love it. I think that he, that team is well coached, and I like Taylor Heinicke, but I just don't know if they have enough points because if Christian McCaffrey does get out, or even if he is making the defense forced to just zero in on him, Cam can move the ball a little bit. So the more points that are scored in this game, I think Carolina, their risk goes down in terms of it. So give me Carolina with the points. I don't feel great about it, but I'll take it.
And silly me and Brett, I'm still sick to my stomach about picking that Washington football team to compete there in the NFC East. They have looked so terrible.
We had them winning the East. It wasn't competing.
Yeah, I didn't want to say winning. I didn't want to expose myself like that.
I'll say this though. Look, I was with you coming into this season. They were on paper should have been the most balanced team in the NFC East. Possibly the most talented. You know what I mean? And it just went downhill. That defense, they couldn't get any pass rush going. It just killed them. That's their Christian McCaffrey, and without it, dude.
I'll give myself credit. I am on brand. I believed in O-line and defense. That's what I believed in, and I believed that Antonio Gibson would have a better year than what we're seeing right now. But it just has not turned out that way for them. Now, the team that is actually leading the NFC East that should run away with the NFC East, the Cowboys visit the Chiefs. Chiefs 2.5-point favorites. Chiefs look like they got kind of back on the horse last week. What do you think about it?
Yeah. So all right. So first off, Amari Cooper is out. With COVID, meaning he's out of this game and he's out the Raiders game next week as well. So what this is going to do is this is going to change the way that essentially the Cowboys offense uses the slot receiver to the outside receiver, right? To where they get out to the X. So it's going to change that offense a little bit. Now, I think Dallas is the better team, and they could still get after Kansas City. But we talked about it for the last couple of weeks on the show. Once Kansas City stopped being arrogant and started using their offensive line and the run game and even the short passing game as a run game, things would immediately flip.
Yep.
And guess what happened? Things immediately flip, right? Like the pass opens back up for them. So you know what? I'm going to go with Kansas City here, even though I've seen way much more that I trust out of Dallas than Kansas City throughout the year. I think Kansas City's actually found something.
Okay,
yeah, go ahead.
So you think you think we counted them out a little bit too early when we were talking about all the interceptions? Or you still think they're not quite there?
Well, I'll say this: I think it was fair for us to count them out because there was nothing saying that they would take their medicine. But they finally started taking their medicine, and what happens? The cold starts to go down, right? You start to feel better. So once they started doing it, you can believe in them again. I don't think it's all the criticism was just on them. So now, I don't believe in them like the last 2 years, but I believe in them more than we did 4 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Bell with us, and I want to get to your favorite NFL pick or picks here in a second, and then we'll get to some selected college games that you like. But also I want you to talk a little bit about college basketball, and we'll get more into college basketball as the football season comes and goes, and we keep visiting with you on Friday afternoons. But this time of year with all this tournament action and 11 o'clock games and 3 o'clock games, the old school books used to call them write-in games. Do you have any trends on any of these tournaments or anything that you might like, especially with the Tigers going to Brooklyn next week?